Hello and welcome to another video on my tutorial channel. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and use GitHub CoPilot, which uses the what do you call it, the OpenAI Codex. So I purchased this subscription. What I did was I was able to go to github.com. They have this GitHub CoPilot, right? So this has been available for quite some time, but I did use the trial. I did use the trial and everything, and I was able to pilot. I was also part of some pilot survey and things like that, so I was fairly impressed with this, but at that time I was not sure where I would use this. It's pretty cool and things like that. It's like when you a few years ago, back when I used to use Windows Phone, and then of course I switched to iPhone, and I would use these AI assistants like Siri and stuff like that. But eventually I stopped. So the impression of AI as part of your daily life has not been exactly great and such. But then for the last few weeks, everybody and anybody is talking about the innovations coming from OpenAI and ChatGPT and stuff like that. And I figured, and I found out that Microsoft is investing heavily in this company. And I use a lot of Microsoft features. I pay for a lot of Microsoft subscriptions, and I figured, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time to go back to this. And I do work as a coding tutor. That's what I do, right? I mean, that's what I do. I work as a coding tutor. So I write a lot of beginner code. I deal with a lot of students who are new to coding, new to programming, and I do a lot of beginner code. So on the GitHub CoPilot website, it was very clear. Somewhere here they mentioned that CoPilot is very useful, especially if you are learning to code, right? So I figured it may be time for me to subscribe to this service. It's about $10, 10 American dollars. In India, it's a decent amount of money. It is a big amount for a lot of developers to actually spend $10 every month on GitHub CoPilot. But then again, I feel it's worth $10. Even though I'm from India, I think it will be useful. And I figured, okay, I will get the subscription. So I signed up for it yesterday. And now today what I'm doing is I spent a few minutes last night, but I couldn't do the whole thing. So today I thought, okay, let me go ahead and give it a try. And I will also just see what happens. So this is the first time I'm gonna try to use this like a detailed way, and I figured I'll record it and put it on my YouTube channel. So here goes nothing. So the way CoPilot works is just like any other chat AI. If you already use ChatGPT or any AI for that matter, you have to tell the AI what you want. And the first step is, of course, you have to use a extension, GitHub CoPilot extension on your VS Code. Now I am using VS Code for today, but it does have integrations with other tools. But I'm going to stick with VS Code because that's what I do. I use in my tutoring, especially when I'm teaching front-end development and JavaScript related learning. So first step, you need to get VS Code, of course, and then you need to sign in to your GitHub account. Very important. You got to be signed in to your GitHub account, which has the GitHub CoPilot subscription. So you need to be first, either you can sign up for the trial. Now I have already gone ahead and purchased wrapped up my trial, so I am a paid customer. So once you pay, if you go to settings or something, I think somewhere here you have CoPilot. There you go. So if you see this, that's the account which has the GitHub CoPilot service. So there you go. So that's the main thing. Make sure you purchase or join the trial. And second thing, on VS Code, enable the GitHub CoPilot, and then of course you should be signed in. And on the bottom right corner, you have the GitHub CoPilot symbol. It looks like a kind of looks like a monkey to me. I don't know why, but yeah, it's like a monkey type symbol on the bottom of the screen, and it should be on. So that's the stuff. So there you go. Now what I've done is I have a simple HTML website, and I've just it's a simple bootstrap site here. I'm using an actress from India's photo. Just ignore the photo. So I have a simple bootstrap site here, where I have linked a script file to this. Okay, so I'm gonna focus only on JavaScript, because I think GitHub CoPilot can do HTML and CSS, but I don't know. But so for me, the real help is going to be in JavaScript. So I'm going to be focusing on JavaScript only. So let's go ahead. First thing what I want to do is I want to ask CoPilot to help me with a console message. So I'm going to say comment, and then I'm going to say console log. And if you notice, okay, and I'm going to press enter, and there it is. Okay, so once you have a comment, you simply have to type what you want, like you're asking a pair programmer. Now ultimately, the way you think about it, or well, the way I see it, is Copilot is literally a Copilot. It sits with you, so you are still in the driver's seat, so you are still the main developer. That's you. And Copilot tries to, let me make this box a little bigger. So Copilot is your pair programmer. Okay, so imagine like you are sitting with a friend who already knows a lot of coding, and you are still kind of figuring things out. So essentially Copilot is like your pair programmer. Now, so essentially what you do is you go ahead and use comments, JavaScript comments or // and you ask what you want, and then you need to hit enter, or and occasionally you may have to hit tab. You have to combine enter and tab. You'll see it right now, and it'll give you suggestions. And and of course I don't know what kind of depending on how fast your internet is, depending on how far you are from GitHub servers. For example, here in India, it's pretty instantaneous. So like right now, let me do that again. I think I need to zoom this a little bit. Yeah, I think that should be big enough, right? So I'm going to put the output on the right side. Let me zoom this also. Let me make this even more bigger. Right. So yeah, there you go. So now what I'm going to do is I will ask GitHub for something. Copilot, I'm going to ask something. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to say, give me a console log. So I'm going to say console log, and then there it is. So that's the GitHub Copilot suggesting me, hey, that is the code for Copilot. And I'm just going to press tab. Okay, and there it is. That's the code. And you can see the output is already working on the right side. So let's keep going with this. So next, what I want, and also another thing I noticed is Copilot will automatically try to help you even if you don't say anything. So if I just press enter, look, it's trying to say, okay, it assumes that I'm a beginner, and it's trying to tell me maybe I want to learn about variables, and that's what I want to learn right now. So I'm going to say tab, and then I'm going to press enter. There it is. It's creating me a string variable, and now it's helping me show the output on the screen. And now there you go. Now it keeps suggesting things. This is where I like this part. So if this is like let's say someone is really new and they just want to explore programming, the AI will just keep suggesting things. Like for example, it's going to talk to me about variable mutation. Now in JavaScript, we do have something called mutability and immutability. For instance, strings, I believe, are immutable. So right now it's talking about mutation. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. So there you go. I'm going to press enter, and there it is. Okay, and now there it is. So which means now you can see here that the objects are mutable in JavaScript. Strings are not mutable, but objects are mutable. So what is happening is we have an object called name, and then now the same name has now become Jane. So it is being changed, it's being modified, it's being mutated, right? So I'm going to keep pressing enter, and now it's trying to say, okay, maybe I am now interested in data types, and I really am interested in data types. So I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to hit tab, and there it is. So now again, it's giving me a string variable. It's giving me an integer object, and that's all it can think of. So it can think of two data types. One is a string and a integer. And now it's talking about Boolean. Good. And now it's again showing the boolean on the screen. Let's see what else it can come up with. I'm going to keep pressing enter. Oh, it's going back to mutation. So it's going to take, I think it's going, oh, okay, it's giving me even more other types of variable. What is it going to do now? Okay, it's going to say job equals teacher, is married equals false. Okay, I think I need to leave a gap. Oh, there we go. So it's now helping me write a sentence. And let me do word wrap on this. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to say it's now look at what it's doing. It's combining the name with age with a sentence with the string concatenation operator, and it's actually forming a fully formed sentence. Look at that. So it's now, this is the part which impresses me. So it's taken the Jane from line number 9, it's combined that with the age variable here, and it's combined that with the boolean value which created here, and then it is also combining a second variable and finally giving me a fully formed sentence. So Jane is a 28-year-old teacher. Is he married? False. Now there is a small mistake though. Now you and I both know Jane is a female name. So there is a he, which is obviously not correct. Now this is again where you see like a limitation of what AI can do for you. So obviously, of course, there could be guys who have a name called Jane, but of course, common parlance, Jane is usually a female, like in Tarzan, Jane is a female lady. But anyway, that's a small something to worry about. I don't have to worry about it. So let's keep going. Let's see going what else the AI will try to teach me. So now it's trying to teach me. I think it stopped. It's no longer able to recommend anything for me. Let me just say, teach me something. I'm just going to say, teach me something. Let's see what it does. No, it can't do anything. So it says there's nothing it can teach me right now. Oh, no. So now I think I need to jump in then. So now let's say I want to do something with arrays. So I'm going to say, give me array of objects. So let's see what happens. It's not doing anything. See, there's another thing I've noticed with the AI. Sometimes it refuses to give any kind of help. It just stops. Right? Let me try again. There you go. It stopped working. See, it completely stopped working. So this is again something I've noticed in the trial period as well, and also during the pilot program and stuff like that. Sometimes the file will literally stop working, and there are a lot of troubleshooting you have to do. So I'm going to put that on the slide. So every now and then the Copilot, you can see that it is not really ready for prime time or something. Like if something like this happened, let's say in a live class, I would be very, very concerned. Okay, so even in this video, I'm like slightly concerned like this is happening, but it's a good thing it is happening because this video is also about the limitations of AI. So occasionally it will stop working for no reason. There are a lot of threads on the GitHub discussions, Copilot discussion on the online repository and stuff like that. So it will stop working. So now let's try to make it start working again. So I think the common things they recommend is opening a new script file. So let me do that. So I'm going to go here to my index.html and I am going to create another script file. Okay, so I'm going to say script2.js. This is what they suggested. I spent some time on the discussion forums and they recommended that if something like this happens, just create a new script file, because at some point the AI is no longer able to keep up, I guess. I don't know. So let's try it out. So let me once again, so I'm going to ask the AI console message. It's working again. See, this is what I'm talking about. So every now and then Copilot will stop responding, like in this file. If I go back again and I say array, see, it's no longer responding on this file. It's like it has reached the end of the line. For whatever reason, it's like it's blanking out. I don't know why that happens, but now if I go back to another file and I'm like, okay, console message, and it is working. So you might see this happening to you also. I don't know why this happens. I have no idea, but I do know that you'll have to do what I just did, create a new file and then start using it again. So this is good. I'm once again getting the hello world. So there you go. Now what I want to do is I want to let's go ahead and let me do one thing. So now I want to start with array. So I'm gonna say array of objects, right? So there we go. Now this is another thing. Occasionally Copilot will only recommend single line suggestions. Okay, so if I go back here, I'm going to put this here in my slide here. So occasionally Copilot will only recommend single line code. Okay, so you have to do like a tab plus enter repeatedly. Okay, you don't have a choice really. So there's nothing I can do about it. It's just how it works right now. But you'll also see that it will prompt multi-line solutions also. We'll do that now. So now this will be a single line suggestion. So I go here, there you go, tab, press enter. What I do is I use my left hand on the tab, right hand on the enter. So it's easier and faster. So tab, enter, tab, enter, tab, enter, tab, enter, tab, enter, tab. And now this is the part I like about it. So now that I have an array of objects, but wait a second though, it is not actually an array of objects. Something is not right here, but let's see where it goes with us. So it's suggesting me I do a console log. There you go. And now it completely forgot about the array of objects. So let me do one thing. So let me do like this. So maybe I can say array of John object. Okay. Now it has taken the object here and converted that into an array, but it is still not giving me an array of objects. So let me try it again. So I'm going to say object array. Okay. So it's repeating the same thing. It's not going away. Okay, it's giving me a different way to access the properties of John. Okay, object array, and now it's repeating itself. And this is another thing I have noticed. You know, it will many times the Copilot will get stuck in some kind of a self-serving infinite loop. So do you see that? So it is once again back to suggesting an object array, and it will not go out of it. So it's like I've seen this happen. So the problem is GitHub CoPilot, what it does is not only does it borrow code from you know, wherever it's getting all this stuff from, it'll also try to study all the files in your project. So which means if you have another file on your computer, or in the same file, if you've written a lot of code, Git Copilot will try to recommend similar code to what you've already written. Even though I don't see why that will be useful. I'm not sure. Like right now I already have an object array and it keeps using, it's suggesting the same thing again, although it is doing some variation because it tried to tell me that I can access the property with the dot operator, but here it is trying to access the same thing with the, you know, the square bracket operator. So it is trying to do something different, but it does get stuck in a loop from which it is unable to escape. So let me try another keyword then. So let me say array of strings. There you go. So now this is where things get interesting. So it'll now see, now it's thinking, okay, I want an array of numbers. So let's go with that. So it's changed its track. It's got some new input. Good, I have a new array. So it uses different styles. So, you know, very useful. Again, it's very useful for first time learners. You know, I work as a coding tutor, so I can really see this, you know, very useful for first time learners. And also for someone like me, because JavaScript has so many features I myself don't know. You know, I mostly focus on teaching basics. So even for me, a lot of times this is really useful. So when I'm explaining something to my students, I might show them how to make an array like this, because that's the one I normally use. But I usually don't do this. But now, thanks to the AI, I can immediately tell my students that, hey, you know what? This is another way to do arrays. So let's keep going. So now it's saying how to access the values. Good. And it stopped. It's not able to come up with anything. So there you go. It stops now. So let's try something else. So let me do, I will say filter array. Again, I think it got stuck. The same problem. So let me do one thing. Let me say array of Boolean values. Nope, it's got stuck again. It's got stuck. It's not able to continue further. Let me try doing a command palette reload or something. Hold on. So let me reload the window. Okay, now let me try if this makes a difference. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, all right. So maybe I don't have to create a new file. Maybe I can just reload VS Code, which kind of resets everything in the code. So there you go. What else is going to do for me? So now it's teaching me how to push stuff. Okay, now it's teaching me how to remove stuff. Good. Now it's teaching me how to pop things. Good. It's teaching me how to unpop things. Very nice. Now it's teaching me to log John, so we can see what's going on with John on the computer. Now where is John getting logged? Okay, so there we go. Wait a second. Oh, because VS Code has reset, the live server is no longer running. The output is not coming. So there we go. Let's go ahead and try this. Ah, there you go. It's working. Now what else can it do? Okay, an alert message. All right, there we go. Prompt message. Okay, that's good. I use prompts. Yeah, sure. Why not? I use prompts. Okay. Good. Okay. Now I don't want this alert to keep coming, so I'm going to comment this. I don't want. Oh, okay. All right. There you go. I'm gonna comment this alert. I don't want this. Okay. So what else is gonna try to teach me? Okay. And then it's going to say console.last name. Okay, that's good. Okay. All right. Why is this code not going away? Let me go to network disable cache. Okay, that's done. What is the last name? Oh, there's another prompt. Right. Okay, I don't want this also. So let's comment this. Now what else can it do? If else statement. Okay, good. Okay, all right. It's going back to the marriage thing. I think the AI is obsessed with marriage for some reason. Okay, again we have, look at this. So it sometimes it goes with a single line suggestion, and other times it goes with a multi-line suggestion. So there it is. Okay, good. Ah, there you go. So now it's giving me, it created its own variables and then it wrote a else on its own. So again, as I said, very useful for beginners, and especially for a tutor like me, a coding tutor. Now I don't have to, I mean, of course I know how to do an if else, I'm sure I do it, but this one looks so much more cleaner. And the best part is I don't have to type. So that I think I'm going to enjoy this. And of course I want to see the reaction of my students when I start using AI in my classes. Now will they think I'm cheating? Because you expect the tutor to write the code, but I'm not writing the code anymore. So I'm going to keep going. So there you go. Now let's say I'm discussing if else. Obviously I'm going to discuss switch statements. It follows very rationally. So instead of typing this, I'm just going to keep hitting tab and let the computer do these things for me. Now it said it'll do a logic and switch, but for whatever reason it's not. See, the AI is still loading. You can see there's a small loading symbol on the bottom left corner. It's not able to come up with stuff anymore. So there is some latency, folks. I am sure Microsoft has some very reliable servers in India. India is a huge deal for Microsoft. They have so many developers from India and they have a huge business here as well. So I'm sure there are servers in India. So I don't think latency is going to be a problem for me. But oh, there you go. It's back on action. Nah, I think it's giving up. Yeah, it's giving up. Okay, it's giving up. It's given up. There you go. This is another thing I'm talking about. So although the technology is no longer in preview or beta phase, you can see here the shortcomings, right? It said it's going to help me with Boolean logic and switch, but then it stops midway. It's not able to help me. So now let's go ahead. Let's try making it one more time. So I'm going to say switch statement. Okay, there we go. And it's frozen again. It won't continue. It won't continue. See, when this happens, it's very disappointing. So now you see, now if I am teaching my students and suddenly the AI stops helping, of course I now know how to do a switch statement and I can type it, but the AI stopped helping me. So now I'm like freezing or something. So these are the limitations I'm talking about. So I don't want to do a reload again. So let me simply open a new script file. So this is a common suggestion they give us. If a file stop responding, the best thing to do is just create a new script file and see what happens. So I'm going to keep going and doing this. So I'm going to go here and I will make this script3.js because I don't want to reload the VS Code every time. So there we go. Now I'm going to say switch statement. Okay, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. And again, it's back to a single line recommendations. I don't know why every now and then the Copilot is unable to give multi-line suggestions. I mean, I don't know what's the big deal about a switch statement. It's pretty basic. It's not like I'm asking the AI to do something earth-shattering. However, it kind of keeps doing this single line recommendations for basic stuff. I don't know why, but it does keep doing this though. So I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to the whole shift. Now there you go. So now obviously the AI thinks that I am going to be moving on to the ternary operator after learning about switch. So there you go. That's good. Let's keep going. Let's keep going until it freezes again. So ternary operator. Okay. Create some variables. Good. All right. There you go. I'm gonna word wrap this thing and nice. So again, it's doing so age is greater than 8. Yes, it's true. Then go ahead and console log, and then of course you go and do this. Let's see what else it comes up with. So I'm gonna keep pressing enter. Now it's talking about age. Oh, it's giving me another example. Good, very nice. Okay. Oh, and now it's looping back. Does it give another switch statement, or is it's going to a teacher something job? Oh, okay. It's giving me a different kind of example. Good. Let me go ahead and make this here. Okay. All right. So again, back to single line stuff. Yeah, I really like it. If the switch statement can be a multi-line scenario. Okay. All right. Now what is it going to do? Oh, it's moving on to truthy and falsy values and equal. I like this. See, this is what I'm talking about. In a general tutoring, normally I don't spend too much time talking about these things, but thanks to Copilot, I think this will make me a better tutor. And of course, if you're learning for the first time, it will make you a better student. You'll learn faster. Normally what I would do is, if I want to get some sample code, I would visit, I would go ahead and visit Stack Overflow, for instance, like if I'm looking for an example or something. Or of course, I'll go to my own GitHub account, where for many years now I have been writing and putting a lot of example code on my repository for students to check out. So I would go here to check previous projects I have done and so on and so forth. But now, thanks to this Copilot, I'm able to sort of just let the AI write the code for me, right? Make my life a little easy. There you go. So it's moving on to if else. And I think it's back to, I don't know if it is still doing, it is still doing truthy falsy values. Okay, I see that now. It's using the triple equals concept. There it is. What else is going to do? Oh, it's back to prompt. I don't want to do any prompts right now. So there it is. So now that's a simple example of switch completed. Now imagine this. So for me, I think as a tutor, and of course to my students, and I've already started recommending this to my students. It's only $10 a month, and there's a free trial as well if they don't want to keep paying for it. But this is what I'm liking about. So this gives me ready-made code, very well written, right? I mean, when you're writing yourself, you might make some minor mistakes, and also and I've been coding and developing for more than 2 decades now, and a lot of times I keep forgetting the syntax. Okay, I keep forgetting the syntax. For example, bubble sort. Sure, I can write bubble sort if I really want to, but I keep forgetting it. So what I would do is I would go and say bubble sort, and now the computer can simply write this code for me and make my life that much. This is what I'm talking about, like multi-line suggestions. And also, if you look at it, there are multiple recommendations you get. This is a nice example of multiple recommendations. So what I can do is I can use Alt and Next to get the next recommendation. So there you go. So I'm getting multiple recommendations, and what I want to do is I want to use this one. So I'm just going to hit tab, and that's my bubble sort. And I think it's going to try to do a console log or something after this. There you go. So normally what would you do? once you write some code, the first thing you would obviously do is see if the array is sorted. So now you can see that the array is in fact sorted. Now what I'll do is I'm going to say bubble sort reverse. So I'll say bubble sort reverse. See, again, it's going to create. Okay, good. All right. Okay. And there it is. And now I'm going to, I think it's going to console log it. And now I'm getting a reverse array. Oh my God, this is so, it is a little scary though. My God, I can imagine, especially these smart teenagers, who already know how to use all these online tools. I don't think, first of all, if smart teenagers don't hire tutors, they'll always try to learn on their own. So I don't think that's a big problem but anyway, so there you go. This is pretty cool stuff, and it's very simple. I'm only focusing on simple things because as a tutor, that's all I do. I teach the simple stuff for my students. Another thing I want to do here is, before I wrap up this video, is let's try something a little bit more complex, right? So let me do one thing. I want to go for let's say maps. Okay, so I'm gonna say array map. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, I have an array. There you go, map function, cool, and there it is. Now what else is going to show me? Okay, good, thank you. And now it's gonna filter it. See, there it is. Okay, good, another array. Okay, nice. All right, what else is going to show me? Let's keep going. Now okay, showing the filter. That's good, very nice. It's talking about the reduce option. Nice. I think it froze. There we go. We hit the limits. No, it didn't hit the limit. It didn't freeze. Okay. Nice. Cool. And there we are. It's going to give a console log, I'm sure. Yeah, I noticed that it needs me to give a space between different types of code, which is a little annoying because now I have an entire file filled with all kind of unnecessary line spaces. But I guess, I'm sure there is like a setting or something I can use, or maybe I can turn on prettier on my code, VS Code, and make sure that all the extra lines are limited, removed or eliminated. But it doesn't matter for my purposes. I'm a tutor, so for me this is more than enough. So let's say next it's going to find. Okay, once again it's going to create an array. I wish it created different kind of arrays though. Okay, there we go. Find. Nice. There we go. All right, now I think it's going to call that function. Oh, it's already calling. Good. There it is. It's logging it. Nice. Okay, very nice. Find index. Okay, is it the same find again? Okay, good. Find index. So, get the index of the item. Very nice. Okay, so, okay, good. What is happening here? It's going to give me the index. There you go, perfect. Okay, array of objects. So let's see if it actually creates an array of objects this time, because oh, it is. Finally it didn't work last time, but now I think it's kind of like, okay, I can do this. Things will get interesting now. Okay, very nice. See, this is much better. See, when you're dealing with JavaScript, a lot of times you want to use all the map features and filter features with an actual array objects. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of these things, whenever I'm teaching my students, I forget, and I keep checking my notes and stuff like that. Now this one, I'm very happy that this will make my life a little easy. So now I don't have to remember the syntax anymore. So that will make me dependent on AI, but sure, that's just how life works, and I'm okay with it. I don't mind getting dependent on this. And if someday this AI service should stop, I'm sure there'll be another AI service which I can just replace it with. Or as always, I can just go back to doing things the old-fashioned way. So there you go. This is what I'm talking about. The AI is really, really kind of like, I'm liking it. I'm really, really, liking it. How it automatically suggests code, and as a coding tutor, I can really see myself using this as part of my daily life. And that's all I want to do today. I think it's already a longish kind of video. So I will be using this more in my daily life. I do work on projects. I do work on projects for clients and stuff like that. And I'm sure I'll find new, and like any other what do you say, like any other tool, ultimately it is only as good as the person who's using it, right? I mean, for instance, I have this I have a computer, I have a second monitor, I have this microphone, I have a very expensive GPU powered machine. Now there are a lot of people who would have that, but I choose to use this computer or use this technology to record this video. So ultimately, like any other tool, Copilot is also a tool which is as good as the person using it. But yes, there are limitations, as you saw. It freezes, and sometimes it simply stop responding, which means you have to either create a new file or you'll have to reload VS Code, and usually it comes back right up. And also, before I wrap up though, I think it is still a first time learner only. I don't think it'll be that useful, not in its current form. Maybe next year, maybe when they figure out, because I have a feeling that when you're working on a big project, it may not be that useful. For example, I mean, here it creates an array, right? And then when you ask it to use mapping, it creates the same array again. Why can't it just use the array again? And also it keeps using var. Why won't it use let? I mean, I think I can ask it to use let. So let me go ahead and say like array with let, and I think it's still going back to var. It's using let in the, it's not doing the so it's not actually giving me an array using the let keyword, so it's not doing it. So again, it's not using ES6. I think that'll be a problem for it, maybe. I really don't know. So I'm going to continue exploring this as and when I feel like I have managed to get something even more or even better done. I'll probably make another video at that point of time. But as of now, yes, I can see this becoming part of my daily life as a tutor. So this will be useful as a tutor, but I don't know if it will be useful for me in my developer projects. But it might. I will only find out when I'm actually working on a developer project, and at that time I'll probably make another video. So all right, then let's wrap it up here. Thank you.